Hey, Joy Division, I'll take the fifth caller at 1-800-641-5555 for a special edition of Whack-A-Mole by request. Actually, this is by request. I had three different separate people over the last several Whack-A-Moles asking me to pull behind the fronted albums. I did that once before, way, way back, but I think I have a lot of new followers or new subscribers now that don't know that. So I have to make room, and I have some slender box sets, as you can see. There's 10 of them. There's one lower, I think, that's out of frame, a Neil Young box set. I'm going to pull behind those and do my Whack-A-Mole random picks and share them. In the background, Nino Rota music. Nino Rota did a lot of, is an Italian composer, soundtrack composer for the most part. And he's covering and doing some songs like The Godfather. I don't know, just like kind of schmaltzy shit in the background while I pull. Because this isn't fun for you to watch, me pulling records. But talking about it is another thing. So here we go, Whack-A-Mole Behind the Fronted Box Special Edition. One, two, three, four. Do you hear the music? The Godfather. Are you the scum that did it to my daughter? It's the only impression I know. I forgot what number I am, but there's 10 here, believe me. There's 10 fronted records. See, if this was Sesame Street, I would count and you'd learn numbers and letters at the same time. Ow! Always happens, a box fall. You know, I'm not wearing shoes, so. 8, now I know where I am. 9, 10. Okay. Oh, we got 10 and 1 is a box set. So, Whack-A-Mole, 10 behind the fronted box sets. Capitol Records, Merle Haggard and the Strangers. I'm a Lonesome Fugitive. I'd like to settle down, but they won't let me. I'm on the run, the highway is my home. Lonesome Fugitive. My mama used to pray my crops would fail. God, with mothers like that. This is a 70s press. I got this at record store days. You know, as I said before, I think I love Merle Haggard. Big fan of Merle Haggard. He was it San Quentin, I believe he was in? Or Folsom, I think it was San Quentin, and he saw Johnny Cash play live. It's at one of those concerts, and when he got out, he ran with it. But I saw him once in the Bay Area, Circle Star Theater, around 1975-ish. One of my favorite of the great country singers from the, Bakersfield or Modesto crowd of California country music. Great, great player. Great singer, great writer. Elvis Costello, Spike. This came out, I have a special verklempt memory. I saw him live when this album came out on tour the week my mom passed away in 1989, I believe. Yeah, it was 1989, I know the year. But on here, he opens the album up with, actually he doesn't know, This Town, but the song on here, Veronica, he went through a little kind of writing, sparring thing him and Paul McCartney were doing some writing together. The results, unfortunately, they didn't really do it together. There were some demos on the Flowers in the Dirt expanded McCartney album of them doing demos singing together. I wish they did a full-on album because Paul needs someone to kind of cut beneath the sappy lyric thing, and Elvis Costello was perfect for that. But Veronica is a song they wrote together, and it's on this album. I believe at least they wrote it together. Now you're gonna call me a liar, but that's the song I believe. At least they worked on it together. But we need to know for sure. Yeah, McCartney McManus, because his real name is Declan McManus, Elvis Costello's name. But cool record, Warner Brothers. I love this cover, and I actually love this album by him. Okay, the whole new wave thing. Sir Bob and Band, Boomtown Rats. The Fine Art of Surfing, with the great single that is such a tragic song. I Don't Like Mondays. I'm going to shoot, hoot, the whole day down. The silicon chip inside her head went into overdrive, something like that. Kind of a cool record, but that record is gorgeous. Who produced this? Sir Bob Geldof. He wasn't Sir then, but you know him. Those of you, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you here know Boomtown Rats. They never quite made it in America. I don't know how big they were in the UK. I mean, they had a following, but you know, he became more famous because of, you know, We Are the World. Is that We Are the World? Or no, sorry, wrong donated super famous people song. That's the American version. The original was the Christmas song. Come on. Anyway, with Midger and Bob Geldof. Great. Actually, that was great. Do They Know It's Christmas? There you go. Okay. Dan Hicks and his Hot Licks. I love this record. This is a live record, but it's a beautifully live record. They were hysterical. They do sort of a retro, not country, but they got some cowboy swing. It's like swing music, very in the period of like the 30s, 40s, like Dan Hicks, Sid, what's his name, on violin. Naomi and Marianne were the Hot Licks vocals, and I forgot the bass player's name right now, but Blue Thumb Records. This is a record that came out around 71-ish, 70, 71. Amazing record. Dan Hicks and Hot Licks, if you see the record, you should get it. I saw them 2 nights in a row at Winterland opening up for the Kinks, and that was their farewell tour. And that was when the Kinks was about 73, I believe, or 74. And they did kind of reform later on some level. Dan Hicks died about 4 or 5 years ago. He lived in the Bay Area all his life. Great singer. Most of the records were on Blue Thumb. Their first record was on Epic, which is wonderful. You know, it sounds like Minnie the Moocher. That's kind of that genre of, Louis Jordan in a way, jazzy kind of stuff. With a really great acoustic feel to it. Then they were on Warner Brothers by the time they split up, actually, unfortunately. Posthumous records of the band. And that's about it. Marianne, it's funny, Marianne, because of those opening for the Kinks, ended up singing on a couple of the Preservation Act Kinks albums. So there you go, a little trivia. I feel like singing Hooker by Crook, Traffic Jam, Where's the Money? Shorty Falls in Love. Great stuff. The first album, I think it's the first album, yeah, by J.J. Cale, Naturally. Now, this is an album that you all should have if you like folky blues rock, but real kind of in a moody vein. J.J. Cale was a great guitar player. When he played live, he usually turned his back to the audience or to the side and just kind of played. Had sort of no sense no affinity for the audience, but he wasn't rude or anything. That's just the way he played. Obviously, he became known because of songs like After Midnight at was made famous by Eric Clapton, but J.J. wrote it. J.J. Cale also wrote Cocaine. That was a big hit for Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton and J.J. made a album together probably 20 years ago. J.J. passed away about 6-7 years ago, I think. Don't quote me on dates, but really good record. This is a great record. Great musicians on it. Wonderful record. It's got a great mood to it. God, Call Me Breezy. Very Magnolia. Very easy, but not easy listening. So none of that smooth stuff. Just really, really sexy record. Sexy voice. Great guitar player. I have most of his records. I think I have all of them. They just put out a posthumous record this year. I don't have that. Maximum Darkness, man. Aren't they a Welsh band? Welsh band. Deke Leonard was a guitar player. Great guitar player. This is a live record. It came out only in the UK. And it got a lot of airplay, at least in the Bay Area, on FM stations, because the guest guitarist on this album is John Cipollina. That's, look at that guitar. John Cipollina was, of course, the great guitar player for Quicksilver Messenger Service, and they did some stuff in the Bay Area. So Mickey Jones, Deke Leonard, Terry Williams, Barton Ace, and special guest John Cipollina. This is a wonderful live record, recorded by the Man Band, recorded at the Roundhouse Chalk Farm, 1975. So it was recorded in England. By that time, Quicksilver was a mess, a fucking mess because of Dino Valenti, but I won't get into that thing. They thank all these people, including K-Stan and KSJO radio and KOME radio stations in the Bay Area, KMET in LA, Winterland. So I believe they did some stuff in San Francisco and played around in San Francisco for a while. But this is Man Band Live, Maximum Darkness, with special guest John Cipollina. Always pose for the freeze frame. Fleetwood Mac. The real Fleetwood Mac. The original Fleetwood Mac. Peter Green, Jeremy Spencer, John McVie, Mick Fleetwood. Oh, Bob Bruning. That's right. This is actually... Mick Fleetwood drums and Bob Bruning on bass. Produced by Mike Vernon. I love the bluesy Fleetwood Mac. Not anything like the California band they became in '75 with Fleetwood Mac and then Rumors, and those are great albums. I got a little turned off by them. Not put off. I had to put them away for a while because those came out when I was working retail records, and we sold so much, the 3 records, and I've said this many times, and I know I'm repeating myself. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, Peter Frampton Comes Alive, and Hotel California. I couldn't listen to those records for almost 30 years after the 70s, because that's the records that were played everywhere. It was like, give me a fucking break. Do I need to hear Rumors again? Still a great pop record, great rock. But this is their real great blues band. I think this is the first album. Yeah, there you go. Fleetwood Mac. Good choice, Mazzy. I like this record. This is about 10 years ago now. I guess, what year did this come out? Psychedelic Pill by Neil Young. There's a new album coming out, or I think it comes out as we speak. It's out, by the time this is posted, it's probably out, called Colorado. And I think it's the first album he's done in 8 or 9 years with Crazy Horse. This is with Crazy Horse. The LP is a double album, and I think, was it My Friend John without an H, Digital Gramophone? I think he just picked this up. This is a really kind of, I don't say grungy, psychedelic, guitar-based long song album. I love this album. I had the CD, and for a long time I couldn't find the record. Oh no, it was really expensive. I remember the vinyl, and for some reason I traded some stuff in, and I got it. But I think I waited like several years before I actually picked this up. 3 records, three vinyls. Psychedelic Pill, just loud thrashing guitar, but in a kind of a, I don't want to say groovy, Dirgy, dirty way. You know when Neil Young gets dirty, down and dirty and naked and psychedelic and pops those pills and what can I say? Anyway, psychedelic pill, Neil Young. Two more to go. Joy Division Still. This is an original factory Graphique Industria, European press on Factory Records. Factory number, usually they have numbers of factory pressings. And this is a comp record. This is live stuff. It's unreleased stuff, a few songs that have been released. So produced by Martin Hannett again, who produced pretty much all this stuff. Sister Ray's on here, the Velvet Underground song recorded at the Moonlight Club in London, 1980. And Sister Ray was the Velvet Underground song. Cool package, pristine copy, as they say. This was reissued a few years ago, I know, but this is an original copy. I love Joy Division. I just love them from the moment I heard, for me at least, the first thing I heard by them is Love Will Tear Us Apart Again. Just the way the drums come out of the gate on that song. But Joy Division, another Manchester band, and we love them. And lastly, a box set. Bob Dylan, the Bootleg Series, 1966. This is Dylan Live, 1966, Royal Albert Hall. Great performance, wonderful. They've been doing the Bootleg Series on CD. Usually the CDs are larger than the album, I believe, than the albums. This is identical, I believe, because it's 4 records. Yeah, oh, no, 2 records, 2 sides. And these all come with nice booklets. I'm a big fan of this Bootleg Series. I mean, his Bootleg Series are better than a lot of people's actual records. So, I'll just show you. Beautiful book, Bob Dylan, Royal Albert Hall, 1966. This would have been a great time to see Bob Dylan. Royal Albert Hall, obviously, London. You know, how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall. Yeah, we don't even know, do we? So, Bob Dylan, we don't know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall. So, Mazzy loves you. Thanks, VC, and I love watching your videos, and thanks for watching these. And I get in the mood and I do them. So, special edition. I hope I answered your request. Mazzy loves you. Take care.